Hello, everybody. In today's segment, I'd like to talk about competing against bigger companies for employees. Now, most people think that, obviously bigger companies, they have a lot more resources. They have a lot more benefits they can give their employees, and they can pay them better and all this stuff that they have more. And as part of that, one of the things that, I find in smaller companies is that they think it's hard to compete, but it's really not. You really just have to change your mindset. And what I mean by that is that instead of taking focusing on quantity, focus on quality. What I mean by that is that most businesses, especially big companies, they very much scrutinize their employees. And what I mean by that is that, you have to be here at exactly 8 o'clock, and you have to take a lunch at exactly this time. And the whole benefits process and all this other stuff takes into effect. But, there's ways around that. And what I encourage small business owners is to take, instead of, take the mentality of scrutinizing all this stuff, just tell them, look, get this file done by X time. And I don't care when you come, I don't care when you go, just get it done. You can tell it to your employees. And, one of the things I realize is that a little bit of flexibility does go a long way with your employees. And, believe it or not, even though your employees are not saying anything or they're not giving you mental cues, they do notice these sort of things. So, believe it or not, when you give them a favor down the line, when it's crunch time or whatever, they're going to return the favor back because they remembered, hey, this person wants to work with me and they want to keep going. Also, what I'd recommend in looking for employees, in addition to, most people think that the target market is just for, the target market customer. But, there's a lot more to it than that. And what I mean by that is to find the right target market for employees. Obviously, whatever industry you're in, you want to find a person that likes that industry first off. If it's a certain hours that a certain type of person can do, then, you want to pair that together. If you have a person who's an early morning person and you're asking them to work a late night job, it's just not going to work out, right? And also you want to find a person who is obviously driven to take the job. Now everyone in the beginning says, yeah, I'm interested, sure. In the job interview, but you find out who they really are when times get tough. But what I mean by that is that you want to find somebody that's not just passing through, just looking to do their time and move on. They're there to stay committed. And certain things that I find from my end, like a lot of times they're too immature. They may be too young or too whatever, and that's kind of their thing, or they don't understand what they have, or a lot of times they just don't need the job. They already have the big mansion from, to say their husband or wife is working and they're making good money. They're just kind of occupying their time. Well, that's not going to work. It's better to rely on somebody long-term than just somebody short-term, and unless it's a short-term job. So really, find the right target market for them. And hopefully some of these things are helpful because, a lot of times we just, in bigger companies, they can get somebody with a crazy degree or a certification or whatever else. But, in small companies, you kind of have to cut corners. So, I get it. Believe me, I'm there too. We do bookkeeping for companies that have to cut corners too. But you got to find a good person, right? And obviously you want to get them paid and, you pay them as well as you can. But there's tight resources, and especially working in small businesses, everyone wants to get paid $1 million, but it's a lot tougher than it looks. But anyways, hopefully this helps you out in your small business journey and helps you kind of grow. And, like I said, you got to kind of fidget with things as far as finding the right employees and, things like that. But just a little bit about me, myself, and my partner. We have a bookkeeping business. So I'm fairly certain I've seen just about every situation as far as bookkeeping and even just small business, employee hiring and firing and stuff like that as far as HR. So just take a look. If you like this video, subscribe and like more. Okay. See you next time.